Hey everyone, how's it going? iamxeracon here with another video. So last week, Arc System Works had a new trailer for the upcoming Blazblue cross-tag battle. And Blazblue cross-tag battle is something that I've been really looking forward to. I'm not a big fighting game fan, however, I do like to get into stories of fighting games. And Blazblue interested me, even though it's really confusing. It still interested me, and I'm a big fan of the Ruby series as well. So when this game was announced, I thought it was a match made in heaven. However, it turned out to be a deal with the devil. Last week, they announced that they announced the new Blake trailer for cross-tag battle, and a lot of people were excited because that was someone that people were expecting to appear in a new trailer. However, what followed after was a huge disappointment, a letdown, and a betrayal by Arc System Works, and that is when we found out that Blake is going to be DLC. A main character from the Ruby series. You have RWBY. You have Ruby, who is R. You have Weiss, who is W. You have Blake, who is B. And Yang, who is Y. You have those four characters. And most likely Yang's going to be DLC as well. So you have half of the main characters being DLC. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why do that? If you're going to have DLC for Ruby characters, why not have Pyrrha, or Jean, or Cinder, or Roman Torchwick? Those characters, it makes sense to have as DLC, not two of the main characters. But then, it gets even worse, because then, it's also announced that, it's also shown that half of the roster for cross-tag battle are DLC. 20 are base characters, and then 20 are also DLC. So that's half of the roster. 40 characters total, and half of them are DLC. That's ridiculous, especially for a fighting game. I mean, you could say, I mean, it's ridiculous because of the fact that I'm pretty sure that a good number of the characters that are going to be revealed are assets they're going to be using from other Blazblue games. There's really no reason for that to happen. I mean, I can't remember if Hakuman or Hakumen is going to be, was announced already, but I have a feeling that he's going to be DLC. And I'm wondering stuff why, because you already have your models, you have the movesets, you already have that. You don't need to develop that. I mean, yeah, you had to develop the new models and movesets for the Ruby characters. That's understandable. That's completely, you're going from scratch for those characters. But still ludicrous to think that that you expect us to pay more money for stuff which is already there. And then on top of it, it's most likely this is going to be a full price base game as well, and the DLC is probably going to be roughly $20, and I feel like that's at least, that's probably the minimum of the price for 20 characters. And, and I mean, they do have separate things like DLC pack 1, 2, 3, like character packs, but they also had a all-in-one pack as well, which I do believe will be $20. And it's ridiculous to do something like that, because they're pulling a Capcom on us right now. Because Capcom's done this with Street Fighter 5, and of course with the most latest infamous installments, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And some people have said, well, maybe, it's because, with licensing characters from Ruby, and then they're also doing, I think, Persona fighting games as well. and what's in Under Night or In Night. I don't remember the name for the last game. So they're saying that, maybe because of these licensing things, it's expensive, and so they have to do this. But I really don't see how that, like, I don't think it's going to cost you that much, especially when you're going to most likely be charging us for a full price game, which people were so willing to buy. I was willing to buy this game. But then you pull this, and now we're not going to do this. I mean, yes, they have done the past where they haven't had where they added in characters later under like extends versions of games. However, those were only for 2 or 3 characters, at most 5 or 6. We're talking about 20. 20. That's that's a big number right there for DLC. And I really can't support this game as it is. Because that's ridiculous that you would expect us to pay for this, and then if we want to get those, expect to pay for a lot more characters. And also, if it's really an issue with getting the money for this, trying to make a profit out of this from licensing, then, that's something you have to take into consideration when you're making your budget. Don't do these extravagant things if you can't afford it. People are saying that with microtransactions are needed for games because the companies need the money. If they really need this in their game and it's something that they can avoid, cut that out. I mean, seriously, it's not rocket science. And then especially considering the fact that EA also said that the fact that cutting out the microtransactions weren't a part of the budget, it just shows how greedy they are, and that's just completely ridiculous. I mean, it's a different topic altogether, but that's just showing you that you're not spending your money wisely. Then, if you think that you're actually going to need to swindle your customers in order to make your money back, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's going to be interesting to see, though, because most likely they're going to have a complete edition or an extend edition later down the road, which is something that I'll most likely get then. But as it is now, I really can't see myself getting this. And if I do get it, it would most likely be a pre-owned copy, because I do not want to give Arc System Works my money. I don't want to support them and the shady practice they are using now. And yeah, well, that's just it for now. I just wanted to vent about that and even let you all know if you haven't heard about this scam, I guess you could say. But until next time, I am iamxeracon signing off. Have a good one.